Welcome to the Middle Podcast. My name is Travis Gale, founder of The Middle, and today we talk to professional mountain bike rider Omphile Motaung. Omphile found out at an early age what it takes to navigate adversity. After losing her dad at age 8, she then lost her mom to cancer at age 14, resulting in her entering into the foster home system. In this episode, Omphile talks openly about the way in which young females growing up in her context are so often told who they are and what they can be. They have limits imposed on them, but as she so powerfully says, we can define who we are and we can break through the limitations that are imposed on us. During this conversation, we found out how Omphile was introduced to cycling, how endurance riding has taught her so much about herself and played a role in her breaking through her limitations, how mentorship has played a crucial role in who she is today, as well as the heart she has to give back to the next generation and to those affected by cancer. Certainly another inspiring and encouraging conversation on the Middle Podcast. So let's get into the middle and discuss breaking through limitations with Omphile Motaung. Omphile, thank you so much for joining us on the Middle Podcast. It's an absolute pleasure to meet you.
Thank you very much for inviting me to this podcast. It's an honor.
Yeah, we had such a great conversation with Ingrid Avalon a little while ago. In fact, I think she was not our previous episode, but the one before that, and she mentioned you. And since then, just doing a little bit of googling, finding out more about who you are. I was really, really chuffed that you said that you agreed to join us today. So I'm looking forward to this conversation. Maybe tell us a little bit about your background. Maybe what context were you born into? Just open up your story for us a little bit and tell us about the young Omphile.
So I was born and raised in Valco, Free State. It's a very like a farm settlement, a bit of that. And growing up, I was raised by a single mother, uh, Dora. She she was an amazing woman. So I guess maybe some of my genes and a bit of my stubbornness comes from her. So I was born in Valcom, and it used to be like the richest city, and now it's like the poorest. So that's where I'm from, and I just love home. Honestly, it just makes me humble to be from there.
Yeah, funny enough, my mom is also from Valcom, so that's something that we share.
Oh, we are family, because it's one big happy family there. It's amazing to be there. I don't want to lie. Maybe I miss home because I'm homesick because I've been here in the academy for so long now. Yeah, Welcome is nice. It's a very nice place, and I was born there. I was raised by a single mom, and growing up, I never knew my father because he passed away when I was very young, like 8 months old. So I was raised by this very strong individual, and when she passed away, she had cancer, and then she passed away, and I had to just move from foster home to foster home, and it was a different atmosphere that I was exposed to, and remembering that I used to be a mommy's girl so much. It was difficult for me to just get along with everybody in any house. I used to be like, I don't want to be here. All I knew was like I was just a bit confused and also just broken at that
Mm.
point. And um, at the end of the day, I end up being Omphile today. But I think as the podcast goes by, I will let you know a little bit of that side also. That's just it's very close to my heart, and I don't mind sharing it to the whole world.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine how difficult it would have been to lose your mom, as you say, if you were mommy's girl. How old were you when she passed away?
When my mom passed away, I was 14. I was actually turning, I was 13, going to turn 14, because yeah, that's all I could remember because the her sickness just took over everything. So no birthday celebrations or whatsoever. So yeah, I was very young.
And shifting from foster parents to foster parents, I suppose those are critical years where you're defining who you are. How did you just navigate that journey of moving from household to household? How did you keep yourself together?
You know, at first it was very difficult. The truth is, being a foster child is not easy, especially when you know who your parents are, and you know who raised you. It's not easy to, adapt to a new environment or a new mom or a new father, because then the treatment is different. It varies from what you were used to, from your birth mother or your birth father, or whoever that raised you in that context up until the certain age. So bumping from one house to another, it also changes everything about you. Yeah, your personality, your habits, and your perspective of look of the outside world. Because then you are suffering from knowing who you are and how to identify yourself amongst the crowd. Because then you are like, you feel like an outcast, like you're not good enough, and you having internal conflict at the same time. So it's quite difficult. It's quite difficult, I don't want to lie. Because also, being in a different house, it depends on which rules you have to apply and you have to obey in that particular house. And also the individual who's going to be raising you, what type of a person they are. So that also, you know in, creates an impact in you as a human being. Yeah.
And did sports in some way play a role in just the way that you were able to navigate those difficult circumstances? I mean, you're in the sporting world now, but where did you even discover sports, and when did it enter into your life?
So in high school, I must say, because of my hyper active personality, I bumped into so many sports in code. I would just say, I want to join. I want to join. Whether it's soccer or hockey, I'd be just there as long as I'm having a fun. So, yo, I have really played a lot of sports before I can actually find my passion in cycling. So, cycling, I would say, it's a champ for me, because immediately I connected with cycling. I never looked back. I used to play soccer, but it was just soccer to me. So yeah, but cycling is everything.
And how did you actually discover cycling? I mean, when did a bicycle even enter your, into your life?
So what happened is that my last foster home, the very good foster home that I was in, by Leslie Messi. He was a cyclist. He was a free state champion. I remember walking in the house and I saw like a lot of trophies. Like he had like a wall unit full of trophies and medals and all of that. And I was like, who is this guy? What's going on? Where am I? At first I used to hate that room. I used to be like, I don't want to be here, because then you are a foster child. You've experienced something from a previous home. Like maybe abuse or so on. And I thought like, this is just one of those houses. I'm just gonna be here for a few months and be tossed around and so on and so forth. But this house was different. From the moment I entered, it was different. And he kept on saying like, you're gonna love me. I know you are a very close person, but you're gonna love me by force. You and I, we were meant to meet. And the universe responded, because I also wanted a person who's this stubborn and this driven. And at that point I didn't see who I was. And I remember he used to just wake up in the morning like 5 o'clock or 4 o'clock and just go and ride and come back sweaty, and sometimes with his socks smelly with mud. And I'm like, I'm not gonna wash that. And he's like, oh yes, you're going to do that. And one day one day we got into a conflict because I didn't want to eat something in the house, because I used to binge food then. And in the middle of the night, I was like, I'm gonna take this guy's bicycle and I'm gonna ride. I'm gonna get away from this house and never come back. That was my aim that day. Then I took this bicycle, and at first time I fell. And he was actually looking at me over the window, and he even laughed. He was like, "Ah, you don't know what you're doing. Come back." Immediately, I just went back in the house, and the following day, I did that, and I saw like I can actually pedal. And I started doing that frequently. He could see, and I could come back like 2 o'clock in the morning, because then I was suffering from anxiety and depression. I just wanted to be alone most of the time. And he said, instead of you stealing my bicycle, How about I teach you how to ride? Because I can see you don't know what you're doing. I mean, you don't start like that. You don't run and run and run and do this. No, this is how you have to ride. And I was like, no, I'm not going to ride any bicycle, especially when he's watching me. No, I'm going to make a fool out of myself. And then one day, I just took the bicycle and he followed me with his car. And I rode 50 kilos that day. I wasn't even aware, but he was actually checking. Like, he had a power meter, and I didn't know there's such a thing as a speedometer. I didn't know, but I kept riding. All I can remember is I kept riding. It's like, you're actually very good at this. Why don't you do it? Instead of you stealing my bicycle, bringing it back with the puncher, and I have to replace the tire, or I have to replace something you broke because you don't know what you're doing, you know? And that's how my journey started with my cycling career. And I never looked back since. And we started riding together. Yeah.
And how old are you at this stage now, just to, help us put the time frame together?
So I met my foster parent, my last foster parent, at the age of 16. I was 16, and for him it was easy because he had daughters, so it was easy to understand this personality of mine. So he was like, in the first time when we met, he was like, "You're gonna love me whether you like it or not. I'm used to all of this attitude. You're a girl." And yeah, I was 14, and from there he took me to school and taught me how to ride, and took me to races. I used to just not race per se, but I used to join. He used to attend cycling events, and I would just go with him and just admire everything. And he also just wanted to expose me to that because I would watch Tour de France with him, bring popcorns. He makes a lot of noise, watching Chris Froome, watching Alberto Contador, all those amazing, great athletes. And he used to be angry at some, small things. And I used to not understand what a peloton is, but I could see he's just frustrated with passion. And I was like, this is quite interesting. And yeah, from there, here we are. Here we are.
Sure. And we talk about here we are. So I mean, right now you're performing. You're a professional cyclist. You're winning races. I mean, there's a big gap between stealing Leslie's bike and then him teaching you how to ride, and you winning these races. So how did your cycling career actually begin to evolve? Did you start to enter races? When did you start to take it quite seriously?
My dad was an avid rider. He was a road biker, so he didn't like mountain biking because the truth is he was not fast when it comes to mountain biking. So we used to just enter road biking events, tour, the, Cape Town and Durban, Aquila events and so on and so forth. Joburg and all of those events. And I remember like telling him, like, I as much as I love cycling, I don't think road bike is where I belong. And he was angry. He was like, you must be a road biker, because he loved road biking. I was like, it's boring for me. I want something because I'm hyper. I have a lot of energy and I need to get rid of it, by seeing something. And I used to just tell him like, oh, I'm going to ride. And I would take a mountain bike and go somewhere and take a picture and show him, oh, this is what I discovered in the middle of nowhere. I'm like, it's dangerous. You shouldn't do that. But I have a spirit of adventurism. So I chose mountain biking. Then in 2021, I in 2020, I had this crazy idea like, I'm going to do the manga with the world most toughest race. And he said, you're not going there. And I was like, I'm going. I'm tough. I can do it. So I always have that thing, like whatever I put my mind into, I'm gonna do it, and there's no coming back from it. And he told me straight, "You're not gonna do the manga in 2020." Then COVID hit us, sadly. Then 2021, I attempted the manga, and the manga was the biggest an eye awakening for my career because then I saw like, what you were doing up there in the street, that's not riding, baby girl. This is a real world. Welcome to the world of suffering and joy at the same time.
Wow, I like that. The world of suffering and joy at the same time. Okay, so up until this stage, you've done like the Tour de Urban in 2018, you've done the Cape Town, Cape Cycle Tour 2019, 2020. So this is your first entrance into the mountain biking world, and it's a serious entrance. I mean, that's a very difficult race. Did you manage to cross the finish line? Like, how did you even approach the, the sheer difficult nature of that race?
So I did like ultra for 2 years, 2021, 2022. I did ultra, and in the middle of me on my journey of ultra, I actually used to admire Ingrid Avidon because wow, that woman is phenomenal. I look up to her like so much. I don't know if I have to talk about Ingrid Avidon, I'll finish maybe next year also or never. So for me this year, what happened is I got a call, I received a call. Actually, lost my job in January because I'm stubborn. I lost my jobs. I've lost several jobs because I love cycling. And when, like I said before, once I focus on something, it's kind of hard for a person to stop me because then here's this dream and here's this passion is this high and here's this dream right here. And I have to drive this passion to, you know, be here so that we can get there. And yeah, this year, my first stage race and trail race was Tankwa. I received a call from Exaro after a psychic training camp of She Untamed, where like She Untamed actually was interested because they saw like this girl, um, she has this, because I don't know, my writing style is always unique because I'm crazy and loud. They just love that she was singing and everywhere blast. Some people were complaining, but she wasn't. So my first stage race was Tankwa with Refilum Khokosi from Exaro, and I was riding a hardtail. People had dual sasses and all of that. On my first stage race in Tankwa ever, I came third. And I was like, what? Me? I can do this? And I was like happy. And I was like, I'm never going to look back because if I can win here, I can win anywhere. So
So, but when was the Tanko? Was that before Munga or after Munga?
this was after Munga. The Tonko came this year. Munga was 2021. Yes.
Okay, so you done the Munga, you got through that. That was your entrance into the off-road world.
Yes.
And then your next big race, you're saying, was the Tankwa.
No, my next big race was Y2K and also Sedgefield 500 Freedom Challenge. I can name a few actually. Some I just they're not on record because I didn't win and I didn't perform well, so I don't talk.
So Tankwa was your position. You managed to place in third at the Tankwa Trek.
Yes, on a like a huge platform, but my biggest highlight I will ever forever be grateful for is Freedom Challenge. Freedom Challenge home. I can ride anywhere in the world, but Freedom Challenge is home because then I got to be humble. I got to understand that in this life, if you really want to get somewhere, and because of the a very beautiful soul and a mentor, a great person that you look up to was with me every step of the way, helping me channel this inner being that is capable of achieving greatness without me being aware. So Freedom Challenge is everything for me. It's home. So that is my biggest highlight mostly. That is my biggest highlight. Yeah. Becoming the first black woman in the history, the youngest also in South Africa to finish 2,151 kilometers. That is something that I will never forget in my life. No matter how hard every situation I go through, I remember those moments that that crate space that I was in for 21 days. That that is something that nobody will ever take away from me.
Yes. So 2,100 Ks, 21 days, and you rode that with Ingrid. What was one of your darkest moments? I mean, was there ever a moment on that you thought, no, I can't do this?
It, you know what's funny? It's not actually funny. It was in the middle of winter. People don't understand. It was the coldest winter last year ever recorded. And we were there. We woke up 5 o'clock in the morning though. The river water is frozen. Frozen. And I would be like, I'm not going there, Ingrid. I'm not going there. I'm not crossing this river. I'm not. And because I was suffering so much from cold feet. And you know, riding with cold feet, ice cold. I mean like ice like a block. You can't even feel your whole entire body, let alone your feet. They're frozen. And you have to use your mental capacity to pedal, to strike every pedal stroke. You have to just strike it, just using your previous, maybe gray matter just has registered some of the things that you used to do throughout the day when it's hot. You have to apply that here, test your limits. It broke me. I would cry. I would cry like a baby and tell Ingrid, I cannot do this, not now. Like, can we wait for maybe like the sun to come out? Knowing that no, it's winter, you can't do it. But yeah, oh man, freedom challenge for me, I get very emotional when I talk about freedom challenge because it really taught me a lot, lot more.
And I suppose as a fighter, because that's what I'm hearing you say, you know, you seem to that stubbornness that you talk about, you develop that fighting mentality, that fighting spirit. Like I put my mind to something, I can do it. It must have been an incredibly sobering moment to go through this like extremely tough endurance challenge where you were taken to the edge of yourself. And even with your fighting spirit, you didn't know, you just didn't feel like you could actually, you know, keep going.
Yeah. So from suffering from depression and to entering the ultra world and extreme ultra challenges and getting in touch to in tune to my soul, my spirit, and me as a being. I had to dig deeper. I thought like I was strong, but Freedom Challenge, the manga, they taught me one thing: no human being knows their limits until they're tested, and until it's the last thing that you have to do, whether you want to do it or you don't want to do it. No human being will ever know how powerful they are until they are really tested. So that what that's what I learned, that you are capable of anything as long as you are willing to work hard in achieving it, regardless of whether that moment you don't feel well, you don't feel like doing it, but you have to do it. And you have to be disciplined. First of all, you have to be disciplined to teach your mind that this is not time for making excuses. Because then, if you make an excuse, you'll forget where you want to go.
Yeah, that's very powerful. I mean, those are some good insights there, and I'm interested to know. I mean, I know that you and Ingrid share a passion for, especially supporting women to test their limits and to push the boundaries. So everything that you've just described, but how did she mentor you through the difficult moments? I mean, did she talk to you, or did she just give you space? I'm just so interested to know how one actually mentors. And in this case, an older woman mentoring a woman from a younger generation. You're in the middle of nowhere. It's freezing. You've got ice. She can see that you're in a tough space. What did you actually do to mentor you through those difficult moments?
Ingrid is an earth angel. She's a star seed. She's patient with people. She's very patient. So naturally, I do everything with passion. I would just tell him like I'm angry right now, and I would really scream sometimes, and she would just stand there and let me think. Like, and she would say, "Are you sure this is you now?" Sometimes she was like, "Come on, Nupi, we can do it." And because she has that beautiful aura around her, she would she would actually show you by doing a practical thing like, look, I can cross, I'm fine, you know. And she would just pull you. So she's very patient. First of all, she's very patient, she's kind, and on a human level, she I don't know how she does it, but Ingrid can just see through your soul without you being aware that she's actually observing you. So I guess that's how easy it was for her to always encourage me in the darkest moment, because before we did like a 500-kilometer race so that she can test out, or she can also just know who I am as an individual. And and that actually created a bond for her to understand what kind of a person I am. She's very patient with me. I'm telling you now, I'm stubborn, and I'm a Scorpio, and I also can't handle myself sometimes, honestly. So for her to actually just put me in the right direction, sometimes I would be angry. I would not want to talk to her, and I would like, I'm going to avoid you right now because you just nearly killed me. And it wasn't even her. I signed up for this. And I would just avoid her for a while. And she would start to sing and just cheer me up because she knows I love music. And she would do something that I like to do, or ask me random questions. Or she's very funny and just throw a joke and she will know automatically I'm gonna respond. So for her, she connects with your soul. She's that kind of a mentor. She she doesn't force you. She just teaches you that you are capable of doing this. Not even me, I'm gonna teach you, but you can teach yourself that.
That's very powerful. I think what you've just said, that is, the role of mentorship is not, mm, it's not just about me teaching you skills or teaching you knowledge. It's creating space for you to figure things out by yourself. And I think a couple of the ingredients that you've mentioned there are exceptional. The patience, because obviously you've got to just allow someone to go through everything that they've got to go through, all the raw emotions, but then at the same time the care, and asking you those questions, and then also just breaking the ice. So I mean, it would be so amazing to have witnessed that from above, watching the two of you, because I think in the middle we talk a lot about find your tribe, and to build relationships with people that are going to grow you, they're going to stretch you, they're going to teach you more about who you are. And I've really just come to believe there's no better training ground, and there's no better way to discover who you are than an endurance event.
We need to nationalize endurance as like also like part of the number one sport in South Africa, because um, endurance. There is a thing. When I came to the space of trails, they were like, "Girl, this is not the manga. Here we ride faster, and you are slow." You know, But in the middle of that, I learned that I can beat all of you guys combined. You just don't know it. So endurance teaches you about your capabilities, the hidden truth within you that you don't know in your depths. So people need to respect endurance a lot. It's not just I'm packing everything, I'm going on a road trip, an adventure, and I'm gonna come back. No, it's really a legitimate sport that um, every generation should practice, instead of just saying, oh, if you are a subvert or a master, then you can do endurance can be for everyone.
Absolutely, and I think we said it. We often, as humans, tend to choose the path of least resistance. And we tend to stick to our comfort zone. So I think it's so incredible to talk to someone who's actively taking herself out of a comfort zone. Because I mean, Ampile, I don't know. I didn't grow up like you, but losing your mom at 13, 14, moving between foster homes, that could have gone the other way. That's that stubbornness that you had. You could have used it in destructive patterns of behavior, but you've been able to channel it into this endurance world, and it's paying dividends. So it's incredible that you were able to move into a positive track with the tough circumstances and emotions that you were feeling. So then, in terms of your current reality, just tell us a little bit about what you're doing every day and what your contract with Exara looks like.
So every day we wake up around 5 o'clock sometimes. Wake up sometimes around 5, go for a run and come back around 6:30, 6:30 and start to ride. For me, I like to make my body suffer because I come from an ultra world. So if I don't feel any pain in my body, I feel like I haven't even done anything. So every day I wake up 5 o'clock, go for training, come back, pick up a book, study, and then you know meditate, do aerobics. I love aerobics. Every day I do aerobics, walk, Pilates, and TikTok, and do funny TikTok videos for my own free time. And my contract with Exara started this year, where they scouted me for 3 months. Uh, what they saw, what they saw actually during Tankwa is passion. They heard about me, and they saw because my partner Refilo was looking for a Cape Epic partner, and I was also supposed to ride for Upside. Upside already had somebody for me, but when I heard that there's an Exaro jersey for previous disadvantaged people, like coming from a very hectic background, knowing that I don't have anybody, I just said I'm gonna grab this opportunity and I want to win the Exaro jersey and I want a strong partner. That's how my contract started with Exaro for the Exaro jersey for women that was hosted this year, so that we can win it. And then yeah, then we won it, and we won another jersey, an amateur jersey in the mix that we were not even prepared for. And the truth is, this year for me with the contract with Exaro, it's technically starts from 18 years to the age of 27 years, and I was blessed by God, and to for them to actually extend the contract because I'm a woman, and also just came in the Exaro's space at the later stage because this week, this next coming week, it's my birthday. I'm turning 27 soon. I'm 26. Well, I'm turning 27 next year. So the Exaro contract actually states that when you turn in 26, the contract ends. But I'm just quite lucky that they extended it because they found me at 25. So that because women we mature later, in cycling world, especially black females, because where we come from in many locations, we are not exposed to cycling. We see it on television, but we are not exposed to it. We're exposed to other sporting codes. So for me to be exposed in the later stage, also maybe if I started, at a very young age, then maybe the world could have been different. So yeah, my contract ends when I'm 30, but the boys ends when they're 26. But should have ended when I'm 26.
And what do you want to do with your cycling? Like, what is your vision, your purpose? What do you want to do with this?
I really want to be in a global stage. For me, I want to test my limits. I want God and I want my talent to be exposed to another black kid from a very poor background. I want my skin color to benefit those that are coming behind me. I want to attend the world champs, maybe probably win them. I want to be in a cross country marathon, XEO marathon. So the vision is not limited. I want to be. I want to try every sport, every cycling um, category that there is out there. That's my dream, and I want my passion and my talent to be propelled and to be used to focus on the future of where South Africa as a whole and in cycling world is going, because black females riders are known as fun riders, and I don't want us to be fun riders. I also want us to be, XCO champion, cross country champion, XCM champion. So I want my talent and I have to work hard also on my skills and everything. I want to be out there. I don't want to end in South Africa or just in outer world. I want to be out there, and I want me to be used as a vessel to make sure that everything works for the next generation that is coming.
It's so powerful. It's like you've got a global vision, but you're very connected to where you come from. And you want to, even when you're talking about Valcom, talking about your mom, like you're very connected to your homeland, to your roots and to your origins. And it just sounds like you're never going to lose that connection, and you always want to give back into that space. You know, what do you believe that, especially people that are growing up in impoverished circumstances, in circumstances similar to how you grew up, what is it that they have to overcome to be able to do what you're doing now?
You know, in the location compared to when you are from the city, it's different because in location you face a lot of criticisms, and you have a lot of people who are going to make a lot of noise and tell you like it's impossible. You can't. When I was living in Bloemfontein, I used to trade every day. I used to ride my bike from work to home. I used to be called this crazy girl. Like, ah, this girl is crazy. Like, what the hell? You know, even men, sometimes they used to say, this is not what women do. This is not how women should be. You are black, you know? And then I would get other people say, this is who you are. And you don't ever give up. You don't ever look back, no matter how hard it gets. You keep fighting for this, you know. So we face a lot of criticisms back in the location than when you are in the urban area because it's familiar. But in the location, they will just say you crazy. You are a black woman. You have to, you know, act like a woman. You know, choose a career in nursing and all of that. Not mountain biking, not any cycling. So for me, I don't want none of that. I want people and I want girls mostly to believe in themselves and in their dream that nobody's gonna stop me. I'm going to be a world champ, next year champ, no matter who says what. So it has to be like that. We have to fix the mentality of our people, especially the black people, because they black girls face a lot of criticisms of what they are capable of doing and what they can't do. So it has to change.
Yeah, it sounds like it sounds like, and especially for black females, as you're saying, is a lot of people tell them who they are and tell them what they must become, and I'm hearing you say, no, 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 let yourself define yourself, and let become who you know that you can be, and that's a very powerful, powerful journey to take a young person on, and as you're saying, especially a young female, a young black female, is to get them to really see what's inside of them and what they can do rather than what other people have told them that they can't do. And what are you seeing in the world of endurance? Are you seeing it transform? Are you seeing more black athletes starting to enter into the fray, or does it still feel like you're an outsider and and you still feel like people are looking at you and going, this is not your place?
You know, you have to be a weirdo because if you're gonna do everything that everybody else is doing, then you are totally boring because then everybody else is boring. You're the cool one in your own world. So I see ultra world blossoming into something that people they're going to actually be shocked that, 5 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, we used to think this is not a sport. It's already happening. It's already happening, and we just need more and more sponsors, more riders, and you know more people who are dedicated to bringing this vision alive and to support one another. If you hear Omphile coming saying, oh, I want to be a gravel champion, and for ultra endurance, don't say you crazy, it's never going to happen. But when I come with it, I want to be an XTO champion or a cross country champion, say, here's the money. How about we all, or every person, or every entity, business entity, just, you know, bring everything together.
I love the work that you and I know Ingrid spoke about this. You're trying to make this more accessible. You're trying to create the space for people to be able to enter into because it is. It's a very expensive world, the ultra world, the entrance fees. There's big barriers to entry. You know, you've got to be a person of resource to be able to enter into those spaces. And I think what we all know, for those of us who do endurance, is that the power of those events isn't about the goodie bag and the food that you get. It's more about what happens within us. And we don't need to necessarily take part in an official endurance event to be able to test our limits and to discover more about who we are. And just in terms of the connection with your mom as well, I know you're doing some work in the space of cancer too. Is that correct?
Yes, I am an Icon Oncology brand ambassador. I raise awareness based on cancer because I was affected by it at a young age. And a lot of people don't talk about um, families that, you know, walk the journey of seeing their loved ones really surviving or battling with cancer. It's a very tough journey out there. And young kids, young people become widows, young kids become orphans in the mix because in the location when you were sick, they are only familiar with chronic illnesses, but they don't normalize, screening for cancer and so on and so forth. And they're not aware that so, there's so many different types of cancers that people should be aware of. It's not just breast cancer, it's not just lung cancer. It's like a wide variety of cancers that people can get. So my work and my job is to bring light to the people, that to tell them like cancer is here, and it's not just cancer. There's different types of cancer that you can get: lymphoma, sarcoma, you name them. And for us to get the knowledge of what type of a cancer is affecting me, or what type of a cancer affected my aunt who passed away, how would I know? By bringing the catalog and by bringing awareness and by teaching you about screening and by teaching you that this type of a cancer affects you one in two ways. You see the symptoms in one in two ways. And if you see something like this, you have to go for screening. You have to go to visit a doctor, and you have to normalize visiting a doctor even if when you are sick or not, just so that you can be sure that you are healthy and you are strong, because cancer is real and people take it light. You can have something here, maybe you would think it's just a tick, might be a cancer tumor that you are not aware of. And then the more you let it there, the more it grows and the more it spreads into your whole entire body without you knowing. The next thing you know, you have 2 days to live. And it's sad when it's like, because you are not aware that there's such a thing as cancer, and it can impact you in this way without just being any breast cancer or whatsoever. It also affects men, and I know men are not, they have a lot of ego and pride, like, I'm a man. These things are for women. No, it's for everyone. As long as you are a living human being, illness is going to affect you. Cancer is going to affect you. It doesn't just affect women and children, it affects all of us. It's it's all of us that have to be screened, and we have to always every year we have to screen for cancer, regardless of whether you are sick or not. So icon oncology is there for a reason, and other cancer companies are there for the betterment of the future of the next generation, even the Gen Z's also.
Oh, well done on that incredible work. I don't know if your mom would have been able to predict that you were going to be a mountain bike rider, but I'm pretty sure she knew you were going to do something incredible.
As she always said to me, she I had a name called Mankoko, means the rain queen, because my other name means rain. So she used to say, Thunder, you are a troublemaker, but one day that trouble is gonna change the whole world.
Wow.
Thunder. Yeah, she used to call me a thunder.
That's been the power of this interview for me is it's taken people to see something in you, and just to help you channel this thunder that you talk about, but at the same time, kudos to you for being able to just navigate that journey within yourself and to process those emotions and to use them for good. Um, what just in terms of closing this, what is like the one thing, if you were standing in front of a group of young people that reminded you of who you were when you were 13, what is the one thing that you'd really encourage them with? What would you want to say to them?
If you are weird, you are unique and you are powerful. You don't need to fit in. You don't need to have a lot of friends who don't understand you of who you are. You don't need nobody to define you. If you are weird, it means you're cool. You just have to stay extra cooler. That's all you need.
Oh, that's great. I just love that you don't need anyone else to define you. Just define yourself, eh?
True.
Well, Umpile, I am totally inspired. I think every single guest that I interview on this podcast, I do say the same thing to them. I'd really love to interview you again down the line and find out how your story is evolving. You've written so many powerful chapters. You're going to be writing a whole lot more chapters. There's a lot of racing ahead of you. There's a lot of good work ahead of you. There's a lot of impact. And then I think what I'm so interested is in exactly what your mom said. This thunder is going to change the world. So we're just watching from the sidelines, waiting to see what that looks like.
I just hope it strikes all the right sponsors. That's all. They need to come our way, my
Yeah,
way also,
yeah.
so that they can help me channel this thunder to change somebody else and to give my lightning to another person. Strike their passion, just to run with their passion and be further than what they are. Like, be better. Every day you must remember you are lucky to be alive. So keep going.
No, that's good. Well, you keep doing what you do, and I'm sure that those sponsors will come just like they have. And thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for sharing so vulnerably and authentically. And as I said, look, we really look forward to catching up with you again.
Thank you so much for inviting me to the Metal Podcast.